Do you wish this was you? Walking through ancient temples, tasting incredible food, exploring bustling cities? Well, guess what? It can be, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. This video will explain to you, my adorable adventurer, the ideal way to navigate Japan on a budget. So be sure to stick around. It's going to be an adventure worth every yen saved. Contrary to popular belief, a tourist heaven like Japan is actually surprisingly affordable. Yet, embarking on such an adventure, whether solo or with a partner, can be a very daunting experience. But I can assure you that if I, an autistic soul that has no social skills whatsoever, can jet off to Japan and step way out of my comfort zone, then so can you. I want to guide you through the very core of what makes a good holiday in Japan. You can even hold my hand if you want to. Please don't, I actually really don't like people. I've had so much time to reflect on my journey by now. Investing time into my YouTube channel also made me learn a lot about myself, the way I handled things, and about Japan itself. I spent an ungodly amount of money planning my entire holiday. In fact, you want to know a little secret? I actually hired a travel agency to plan out my holiday. Do I regret it? Not really. I don't think there's something inherently wrong with letting other people do the dirty work for you, but it comes at a cost. A big cost. I paid so much money that I didn't really have to, and I want to prevent you from doing the same. Because you don't need an insane amount of savings to step into the Japan puddle. Going there is actually so much more of a realistic goal than you might think. So let's jump straight in. To make the prep easy for anyone, I'll pretend to start along with you, so you can tag along. Now, while Sakura season is the prettiest time to visit Japan, it is also the busiest and most expensive. It's not like you can't enjoy it during any other season, and I very much recommend you choose a different season to visit. This first holiday doesn't need to be perfect, but if you can save a lot on your first holiday, a second follow-up might be right around the corner. Thus, let's book a trip for November, during late autumn. Hypothetical me also doesn't care much for rural towns, so all I want to do is visit Tokyo, Kyoto and Osaka. 1 week per city. Now the most tedious process of planning a holiday can begin. Booking flights. I can't stress it enough, and I even mentioned it in my video about planning a trip to Japan, so please watch that after this video. It's very important to sit through the long process of comparing all the days of the month's pricing. So here I am on the Skyscanner website, not sponsored by the way, ready to find a flight to Tokyo. Now personally, I would recommend going to Haneda Airport because that's way closer to the city and it doesn't require you to pay as much for public transport to actually get to your hotel or the city. Now as you can see right here, we said that we were going to plan a holiday for November or late autumn, and we're actually in luck as there are a lot of green dots here, which means that the flights can be pretty cheap. So instead we can also just search for flexible dates and November, and then return date November. So now you get this whole chart of every day of the month, and it also shows the cheapest price available. God damn, bro, these prices are so cheap compared to when I ordered my flight to Japan. What the hell? So we are budget travelers. I see two very nice prices here, 3 weeks apart. Sunday the 3rd and Monday the 25th. And in that case, flights round trip per adult. We just click on find flights, and there you have it, the entire list of providers, airlines and time zones that will fly over to Japan. Now, as you can see, there is a very distinct difference in some times and prices, but what I would recommend personally is just finding a fine line where it's like you don't have to lay over for like 20 hours on Shanghai airport or something. But make sure that you have some time to kill on the layover airport, because you obviously do need to transfer and a plane can have delays, so be careful. This is exactly what I said, Beijing airport, 20 hours connecting airport. Don't do this. This is not worth it. So as you can see here, we have a pretty cheap flight, honestly. Like this is a couple €100 cheaper than my flight, actually. Pretty comfortable. 3-hour layover at an airport is not that long. Don't be alarmed by this. It is not that crazy. And here, 2 hours of layover. Honestly, looks pretty good. €800 is not that crazy for a flight to Japan, from Amsterdam at least. It just kind of depends on really what you want. I just like using Skyscanner to really compare all the different airlines and just choose what's best for me. Try not to overanalyze it and don't overthink too much. Enjoy the journey. Whenever you lose motivation, just think of all the insane adventures you'll miss out on if you don't do this. Set a 1 or 2 month limit and don't scour a year's worth of flights for the best price. So flights booked and dates set, it is time we find ourselves a place to lay our heads at the end of each eventful day. I've already established that I want to visit Tokyo, Kyoto and Osaka. So all it takes is just a quick trip to a website like booking.com and scouring the entire map for a hotel that screams, pick me. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Oh, Okay, take a breather. I know you're quite spoiled for choice, but trust me, this is gonna prove to be quite easy. The first option would be to filter out all the expensive choices. So let's start there. Bringing down the price a little bit. You can already see your choices improving. Now open the map again and start exploring. And trust me, this is way more fun than comparing flights. See if you can find something that just looks and feels good. Japan has designed its public transport for seamless travel. Every district is within easy reach, no matter the location. So don't feel scared to book a hotel that might look a bit out of place. A second and way cheaper option would be to search for capsule hotels. If a hotel room is too much and you only care about sleeping, then choose a capsule hotel. Personally, I like having a little safe haven to come back to after a long day. But don't be afraid of a capsule hotel if you're on a budget. It is the best way to save on accommodation costs. A quick switch of the search filters and capsule hotels will be the only thing you see. Even for 6 nights the cost can be as low as around €30 a night. And the final option would be to book a dorm room. I honestly admire you if you can share your sleeping space with some strangers. But it is Japan after all, so the safest place would probably be here. The prices here also range around €30 a night. In conclusion, you have a lot of options in terms of accommodation. It all depends on what you're comfortable with and how much you're willing to give up to save money. Personally speaking, I am an elite autist. I need a personal space to relax in. So I would like a hotel room to myself. I ended up booking the Saka no Hotel Tretio Ochanomizu in Tokyo, which is close to Akihabara, where I can spend all the money that I don't have. For Kyoto, I booked Hotel Excellence Enmachi Ekimae, which didn't cost me a whole lot of effort to find. And lastly, in Osaka, I ended up booking the APA Hotel and Resort Osaka Umeda Eki Tower, super close to the main station, and also at a very affordable price. I don't need much to feel satisfied in a hotel room, but it is nice to return to your private room after a long day. And hey, if these tips have been proving helpful thus far, please leave a like on this video. It really helps the channel and it also shows me that I'm doing a decent job at this. Okay, you can relax now. You've booked the main parts of your Japan trip. So it's time to celebrate by spending more money on public transport. No, but seriously, you've finished the 2 biggest and most expensive tasks. Congrats! Public transport in Japan is like nothing you've ever experienced. It's efficient, clean, and kind of a marvel. But it can get pricey if you're not careful. So let's break it down and make sure you're spending wisely. Starting off with the big elephant in the room. The JR Pass. Now, the JR Pass has seen an incredible price increase at the end of 2023. So yes, I was incredibly lucky. My 21-day green class pass used to be a mere 83,000 yen, compared to the now 140,000 yen. Considering we are only visiting Tokyo, Kyoto and Osaka, I don't think we're gonna need this pass. But let's calculate. Currently, a 21-day regular class JR Pass would cost you 100,000 yen. A one-way ticket from Tokyo to Kyoto is about 14,500 yen by Shinkansen. A one-way ticket from Kyoto to Osaka is about 1,420 yen by Shinkansen, or 560 yen by special rapid service on the JR Kyoto line. So either we pay 630 euros to cover all our 3 weeks in Japan, or a mere 100 for those trips. I think I know which one I'd prefer. No JR Pass for us this holiday. When you arrive in Japan, I highly recommend getting a welcome suica at the airport or the train station. It has no extra fees and can be loaded up with money. It will get you through train station ticket gates and you can also use it to buy things at a store. You'll probably take local trains and subways a lot in the big cities. This card, however, is not valid for the Shinkansen. You need to buy a separate ticket at a kiosk in the train station. Don't worry, they have a giant language button so you can navigate the menu in English. Many cities also have day passes for the subway or local trains. If you love to plan ahead and like a day of commuting in a big city, be sure to buy one of these passes. Lastly, don't overlook Japan's buses. In cities like Kyoto, they can be better than the subway for reaching top sites. Buses are usually a little cheaper than trains, and once you get the hang of how they work, they're super convenient. But wait, what about taxis? No. No, we don't. They're very expensive. Hypothetical me is just fine with an IC card to top up when necessary. Japanese public transport is very cheap for its quality. While it might sound like a lot to figure out, once you're in Japan, it's all surprisingly intuitive. Heck, I managed to, so you sure as hell can too. In short, plan your transport by your itinerary. Choose the right passes and use Japan's amazing transport system. Your wallet will thank you. Flights booked, hotels booked, public transport settled. You're basically already in Japan. But let's face it, figuring out where to go, what to buy, and knowing how to take the right train is all gonna be pretty difficult without one thing: internet. Fortunately, you can stay connected in Japan without spending a lot of money, and there are a few cheap ways to do it. First up, a pocket Wi-Fi router. The ideal device for traveling with friends or family, but it can also be used on your own. A pocket Wi-Fi is a tiny router you can keep in your bag all day. It lets multiple devices connect to the internet. If you plan on traveling with someone and you can split costs, I highly recommend ordering one. On average, it's about 500 to 800 yen a day, which is honestly already a steal on its own. You can rent one in advance, or even have it delivered to your hotel, so you don't have to worry about finding it when you land. Next, for a real solo traveler, there's also a prepaid SIM card. You can grab one right at the airport or order online before your trip and pick it up when you land. All you need is an unlocked phone. Otherwise, it won't work. Check with your provider before you make any decisions. Most prepaid SIM cards come in various packages, depending on how much data you need and how long you'll be in Japan. If you want to be smart about your internet use and use public Wi-Fi as much as possible, this could be your best bet. Now, coming back to hypothetical me, I have planned my holiday around the 3 biggest cities in Japan. Cafes with free Wi-Fi around every corner. I'll probably have Wi-Fi in my hotel, the breakfast Starbucks, the Shinkansen, you name it. I don't think I'm gonna need any of these options. Thus, to save as much money as possible, I will not get a router or a SIM card. But if you want to play it safe and order one, I won't hold it against you. With all the logistical preparations now done, we can finally hypothetically move hypothetical me to Japan. Hypothetically. The flights went smoothly, I got my IC card, I checked into my hotel, but after laying my head down for a bit, I suddenly felt a little something. Huh? I said to myself. Damn, I'm hungry. What makes Japan truly unforgettable? The food. And let me tell you, eating well in Japan does not have to drain your wallet. We are going to eat like kings and queens without spending like one. Now tell me, what does Japan really thrive off of? You tell me. Tourism? No. Their cultural integrity? No. Fellas, I'm talking about konbinis. Convenience stores, or konbinis, are more than simple gas station stores. 7-Eleven, Lawson, and Family Mart are amazing. You can get full meals there for just a few hundred yen. Many locals in Japan grab meals from a konbini, and the food is surprisingly fresh and varied. You've got everything from onigiri to bento boxes, fried chicken, noodles, and sushi rolls. It's definitely not gourmet food, but you must try some items. Be ready to be surprised at how good they actually are. Also, don't forget to grab a nice hot coffee from the konbini machines in the morning, or enjoy a hot tea in the evening. They're cheap, tasty, and way better than you'd expect from a prepackaged hot drink. But konbini food can only keep you going for a while. It is still supermarket food, and just not enough for our grand holiday. You don't need to splurge to enjoy some of the best food Japan has to offer. In fact, some of the most iconic dishes are super budget friendly. A steaming bowl of ramen, for example, will cost you around 500 to 1000 yen, depending on where you go. Ramen shops are everywhere in Japan. Even the cheap ones are delicious. There are some high-end ramen spots, but most local joints serve a bowl that'll warm your soul without burning your wallet. Don't be afraid to check out a small ramen shop tucked away in an alley. They're often the best hidden gems. And what about sushi? For sushi at a lower price, try a kaiten sushi restaurant. Plates of sushi rotate in front of you, and each plate usually costs around 100 to 300 yen. It's like a sushi buffet, but on a budget. You'll end up paying way less than at a fancy sushi restaurant, but the quality is still really good. And let's be honest, there's something fun about picking sushi off a conveyor belt. Lastly, if you like snacking and drinking, hit up an izakaya. Think of it as Japan's answer to a pub. You can order small plates of food to share. They include, but are not limited to, yakitori, sashimi, and tempura. Many izakayas even have lunch specials, and you can get yourself one for around 800 to 1200 yen. Speaking of lunch specials, be sure to keep an eye out for those at restaurants. Many places offer discounted meals during the day, especially around noon. moon. Japan's street food is another great way to eat well on a budget. Food stalls at markets, festivals and busy shopping streets offer everything from savory snacks to sweet treats. There's a lot to choose from, but some of the most well-known ones consist of okonomiyaki, a savory pancake with cabbage, meat and seafood. It's topped with mayonnaise and okonomiyaki sauce. Prices vary, but usually around 500 to 800 yen. Taiyaki. If you have a sweet tooth, grab a taiyaki. It's a fish-shaped pastry filled with red bean paste or custard. It costs around 200 to 300 yen. And of course, takoyaki. Fried octopus balls, crispy on the outside and gooey on the inside. You can get yourself a portion for around 400 to 600 yen. For the best street food, check out local festivals and markets. Try Nishiki Market in Kyoto and Tsukiji Outer Market in Tokyo. So where did hypothetical me decide to crash? I don't know honestly. Hypothetical me would probably be too scared to walk around into a random restaurant and then have to sit down and order food. Oh wait, fuck, that wasn't hypothetical. Yeah, don't be like me. The big cities in Japan are usually very tourist friendly. They're an introvert's dream. I remember my first meal in Japan. I just walked into a random joint, I got sat down at a table with a little tablet, and then I could click what I want and it would just be brought to me. Later I found out that many Japanese restaurants actually have this. It made it easy to order with little human interaction. Eating in Japan on a budget is not only possible, but it's one of the best parts of the trip. You're in for an unforgettable culinary experience without molesting your wallet. And there you have it, everything for an unforgettable adventure in Japan on a budget. All these core tips will leave you with enough money to plan out the activities that really matter to you. Whether that's visiting shrines, which are free to visit, or splurging on cheap anime figurines. We started with the horrible stress of booking hotels and ended up with enough money left in Japan to find a good place to eat. Now, it's your turn. And with these tips, you can do it. But don't forget, I have another essential guide video that you'll probably want to check out before planning your first Japan trip. A holiday is as expensive as you make it, but some places just seem impossible to reach without years of saving. Japan is not like that. You can go there too, on a budget, and enjoy everything the country has to offer. If you plan smart, think ahead, and take advantage of all the awesome budget-friendly options available. Now go out there and make some amazing memories. And don't forget to come back here and tell me all about them. If this video helped you plan your budget trip to Japan, then please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe for more future content about Japan. And if you have more tips to share for fellow travelers, then don't forget to leave them down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Sayonara.